and welcome back to Opal&Mint. I am Ashley, and today I'm excited because we're going to be playing with some paints that are a little bit different, not the norm. This is a company called Boulder Colors, and this company actually makes their own pigments from plants and leftover food products. You should go, if you want to see how they do this, go check out their Instagram. It's really fun to watch because they'll take something that's one color, and by the time it gets down to the pigment stage, it's a completely different color. Like, you never know what color the pigment's gonna end up being. It's really, really fascinating. I also show you how to do it yourself. If you want to take leftover food products or leftover flowers from an anniversary or Valentine's Day, they can show you how to make that into the pigments, and then you can make it into whatever kind of paint. But anyways, this is watercolor paint because I am a watercolor channel, and I'm going to tell you how I found this brand, first of all. So I was browsing Instagram and I saw somebody painting, and as they were painting, they took their watercolor brush, dug it in their ring, and put it on their paper. And I was like, hold on a minute. Is there watercolor paint in your rings? And so I commented, I'm like, hey, did you just get paint from your ring? Like, I need to know what's going on here. And so she was like, yes, it's from a company called Boulder Colors. And so I went to their website and I couldn't find it anywhere. And the owner of the company actually reached out to me, and she's like, hey, these were from a advent calendar. I have a couple left over. I can just send you some if you want. So she sent me the rings for free, which was amazing. I was so ecstatic. I just had to have them because just imagine painting. You're just out and you want to paint, and I don't know. I just thought it was cool. So I have paint rings now, but before these got to me, she was sending me these, did not pay a thing for them. So I was like, you know what? I want to go on and order some paints. So I ordered this little collection of paints from her. And then my rings got here with this too. She sent me these paints and this little dot card of paints. So I have all these paints to show you, and I'm so excited. It's so fun. I've been using these, and they're really, really cool. So, like, this one is made out of lime. This one is made out of black raspberry, and it's like a deep green color. The purple one is made out of black Delilah. So a flower, dahlia, not Delilah. Why did I say that? We've got red onion skins, and it's green. We have cilantro stems, and it's yellow, and then avocado pit. So these are really cool, and it's kind of fun just to know where they came from. So I do want to disclaimer and note here, these paints are not made and tested and meant to be light, fast paints. So if you are selling your artwork, just note, if you use these paints, they might be light, fast, but probably not going to be as reliably light, fast as traditional professional paints. So, but I want to show you how these work, and I'm excited to play with these paints today. I've been messing around with them. I used them in my last video actually, but I wanted to swatch them all for you. And on top of that, I ordered a color changing pigment salt from this company, which is absolutely gorgeous and fascinating. So let's turn the camera around and just dive into Boulder Colors. Today I'm going to be using this watercolor paper. Again, don't know how to say this name, but I will link this paper. I get this on Amazon. I think it's around 16 bucks, and it's 20 pages, 100% cotton watercolor paper. I've used this a few times, and I'm loving it so far. It's nice and textured, but it's not quite as thirsty of a paper as Arches, if you know what I mean by that. Right. Watercolors made from locally grown plants and food waste, vegan and waste-free color changing pigment salts, which are awesome. So I have these sets, and one thing to note also, if you are liking a certain color, grab it because they change all the time, and each thing that she uses, each plant she uses is going to look different. So they're not like traditional paints where you get crimson or you get ultramarine. It's whatever this plant decided to make a color out of. Whatever color this plant decided to make. That's what I'm trying to say. So, needless to say, they are very earthy colors. Lots of the greens and the reds and the yellows. I was very surprised by this pink. I'm excited to show you that one. But let's see. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start swatching these, and then we will get to painting. I'm going to take my Silver Black Velvet number 8, and we're going to start here with the light pink. But when I first swatched these, I did a swatch on Instagram. I was actually very surprised at the pigment level of these. I don't know why I expected them to be a little bit weaker. I honestly didn't know what to expect, just because I hadn't used paints like this before. But here is the yellow. But I've found that they perform just like any other watercolor. Like, I haven't had any issues with them. Like I said in the beginning, the only thing that you might have a problem with is light fastness. And not saying that they won't last, but there's like no testing done on them to say whether they will or won't. So this is, I really like that green. That's one of my favorites. And this is the black raspberry, which is so strange, but so beautiful. All right, now you got to check out this purple. This purple is beautiful. They reactivate fairly nicely. I don't have to like go in and wet them, 5 minutes before. I'm just sticking my wet brush in there, and they're activating nicely. All right, let's take this lime. I was going to say this is lime green, and it actually is because it's made from a lime. Beautiful. It looks kind of like a sap green. Very pretty. And then the red shade here, kind of it's just a beautiful muted bricky red. It's just beautiful. Okay, so there's that set. This is the one that she sent to me along with this swatch card. Let's try Avocado Pit. So Avocado Pit is very similar to whatever that was. Just see if I can look at the back of it. Very, very similar colors. Let's see what this one actually is. Oh, avocado. It is the same color. That's why. Those are the same color. And then we have red onion skin. Which is another good green. And then cilantro stems. So what should I paint with these today? I'm trying to decide. I mean, obviously I need to paint something plants, or I could do fruits and vegetables or something. So this one is named Tooth on the back. I'm not really sure what that means this is. Ink cap. I don't know if these she just gave names for. I don't know. But let's swatch these. And then I am going to swatch the rings as well that I am wearing. So I have actually painted with these. I'm going to put a little drop of water on them. I have painted with them. Like I've painted in my car with them, and they are very cool. But you know, once they're wet, they can kind of get everywhere. And I was painting in my car, and then I went in to pick up my son, and I like got paint on my fingers, and I should have taken them off, but that one's not quite as pigmented, but I like the color of it. All right, and then this looks like it's a brown shade. Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of a green toned brown. So there's that. And then we have another kind of red shade. This one's a little bit different though. It's a little bit deeper of a color. Whoops, just splashed paint everywhere. I'm very, very good at splashing paint. And then we have another yellow. This one looks similar. Well, it's a little bit more muted than that one. And then we have this bleeding tooth. So we have tooth and bleeding tooth. Is that like a flower or something that I just don't know about? Please let me know. All right, and then that one's kind of a greenish mustard color. So there are the swatches of the paints. Let me show you what these rings look like. So the bigger ring right here is a kind of Payne's gray almost. It's I don't know what this one is made out of. You know, she just sent these to me, but it's kind of a blue toned gray, and it's very pretty. And then the little bitty one, which she sent me 3 of these little tiny ones. How cute is this? But this one is actually more of a black. It's the tiniest little bit of paint, but it's so stinking cute. So I know these rings may not be the most practical thing in the world, but I just wanted it, and I'm so grateful that she sent them to me. Allowed me to have them. Okay, so there are the swatches of the Boulder colors that I have. My light keeps changing. Let's adjust. I did this on Instagram, and I think I did a short of it. Oh, weird, it's changed a little bit even more. Let me take these rings off since they are wet now. This is what the salts look like, and let me go ahead and show you them in action though. They are so fun to watch. So I'm going to just put a bunch of water on the page right here. And now this is a loose powder, so be careful when opening. Turn that down again. I'm gonna open it over the water. You can see it's falling out a little bit. Okay. All right, and then take a little bit of this and just drop the salts on the water. And that is the coolest thing in the world. Oh my gosh, I love it. So there's so many things you can do with these salts. Like I said, this painting, I just put water all over it and then put these down. It's interesting because they look blue here, but as they dry, they turn a little bit more teal, more green toned. And then as they've sat even more, it's turning even more green. It's interesting. The pink stays very pink though. It's beautiful. But this blue turns more green. So they're just really fun and fascinating just to watch even. But I mean, you can play around with them. You don't have to like just leave them, plop them down and leave them. But it is very fascinating to see what they do. So once they are dry, you just brush off the extra salt that's on the page. And there you go. So there are the Boulder Colors pigment salts and paints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a fresh sheet of paper, and we are going to paint something, see how these perform together, how they blend together, how they interact, and yes, now I need to decide what I'm painting. I really like this gray from that ring. Oh, that's beautiful. did a quick little sketch. This is based off of, I don't know if you can see this at all, a drawing I did on the back of a Witch bag, and I just really like the style of it, so I'm going to kind of go based off of that, and we're going to start painting. And I think I want to start with a vase, and I'm going to use the purple because I like these rings back on so we can use them. Going to start by wetting the surface where the vase is. So I want to see how they do wet and wet, because I think I've only ever put these on paper wet on dry. So let's see how they do in water. It looks like they do move a little bit. Just spreading. Blend out nicely. So this drawing that I just did with the Sharpies at Witch. And if you don't know, if you've never been to Witch, you have a sandwich bag and they put it on the little wire and it goes across the line. Anyways, so I can see which one is mine. I always draw like a smiley face on the back of it. I can see where it is in line. And so what I did as we were sitting down to eat is I took that smiley face and drew something out of it. And this is what the result was. And I just thought it was so cute, so I wanted to paint it. So that is what this inspiration is from. A witch doodle. Okay, so I'm going to get a base layer of this, and then I want to layer on top and see how the colors do layer. I'm going to see if they, you know, lift up too much from what's underneath, or so. That's going to be my base layer of the vase. Turn this up a little bit. I'm going to move on to the sunflower. I want this to be like the main event, main focus. So I'm going to take the brownish shade. It's kind of a greenish brown. So I'm going to take a little bit of the red into it. I feel like, okay. It's interesting. This does have a little, this particular one that I'm using right now has a little bit of a gritty texture, which is interesting. I'm sure each one's going to be slightly different depending on how much she grinds up those pigments. So I'm going to get the circle first, and then I'm going to take a yellow, and while this is still wet, I want to go in with the petals. This to be in the center. Okay, which yellow do I want to use though? I really like the cilantro leaves, so we're gonna go into this, and I'm gonna see how much they spread when I touch wet on wet. I really want to get my face closer to this paper, but there's like a camera and a microphone in the way. So I want to do these a fairly solid color. They can be different intensities of that color, but because then I'm going to go in with kind of cartoonish lines on them for the details, kind of like in the sketch itself. So I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stop talking because I just want to enjoy this. And I'm going to put this part to music. And after the first layer, I'll come back to kind of talk about how a second layer is going on. But for the time being, just enjoy. So here is my base layer. Notes on, let's see, let's zoom that out just a little bit. All right, notes on how they feel so far. Once you have got them properly, reactivated and wet, they are very pigmented. I do feel a slight grittiness under my brush. Like I can feel a little bit of a difference. It doesn't bother me, but it is something to note. There is like a slight grit in the paint, ever so slightly. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm going to go ahead and start seeing how these layer. I want to layer purple on top of this, but also another color. So I think I'm going to take this kind of bluish gray here and add a few little marks on the vase just to see how they layer. Again, this hasn't been drying for a very long time. It does look like it's picking up some. Let's see here. I'm gonna do some dry brushing along here. Okay, now let's go into the purple. I want to deepen up some of this. I don't know that I would want to use these for a bunch of layering. Just put the ring on the clothes. Oh my goodness. I love these rings, but I am not careful enough with them. But yeah, I don't know that I would want to paint things that needed a lot of layering. Some paints do really well with layering, and then some just, like this is seeming to pick it up quite a bit. So, just keep that in mind with whatever style you're going to be painting with these. I would suggest doing something that doesn't need a lot of glazing. So the style I'm going for is kind of impressionistic. I'm not trying to do, I just want this to be like a fun painting and not focused on making things real. Sometimes you get bogged down by trying to make it look real. Okay, I need a smaller brush to do my like sketchy lines. So let me get that. This is a Master's Touch #1 liner. And I'm gonna take, get this brown. I need this to be a much deeper shade of brown for the sketchy details on the center of the flower. So I'm going to take the brown and I'm going to add a little bit, I think, of this purple to dry. Yeah, you can see the pigments. Hold on. Okay. So I'm hoping that you might be able to see when I'm mixing these, you can you see the little pigments in there. So they're not, oh, come on. So they're not going to be, as finely milled as professional paints like that you get at a store. Sorry, I just wanted to show you that up close. Hopefully you were able to see that. Okay, anyways, I was mixing the purple. Yeah, that purple has a lot of pigments. And then, I should have blue. Let's take some of the red, and then we're gonna take some of this green. So I'm gonna take this, and just like I did with the marker on the Witch bag, I'm just gonna do some dots, some little pointillism here. Right, so there's the center of that. All right, so for the petals of the sunflower, I want to mix this yellow with the brown, maybe some red and yellow. I just need a deeper version of that and do some little detail lines. So I will do this and be right back. So I am finished with my painting, and this was so much fun. Let me take the ring off again. I really enjoy just doing this style of painting. It's like a fun, almost kiddish, but I don't know. I just really like, this was just relaxing and therapeutic for me. So, but let's talk about the paints. They have lots of pigment. They definitely can get fairly opaque, but they also wash out nicely. They do, like I said, feel a little bit gritty under the brush. So if that's something that bothers you, something to take note. But, whoa, just knowing where they come from too. And I love supporting small businesses, especially small artists. So yeah, I'm curious, have you heard of this brand? What are your thoughts? Obviously, this isn't something that I would use painting something and selling it, because I don't know about the light fastness and all of that, especially since the, the color changing pigments, here's this dried, by the way. They do change so much. And I don't know, like this is only a few days old, so I don't know if the colors are going to continue to change even further. This looks so cool. The pinks. Anyways, let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But I thoroughly enjoyed painting with these, and I can't wait to paint some more. This is definitely something that I would scan in and digitize. That way, it stays the same. But so much fun. But that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy this, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you want to see our future videos, hit that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Whoa, that fell down.